What if I told you that two of literature's most embarrassing girls were actually playing a game their sisters never even knew existed? Not a love game, not a romance game, a power game. And the scary part? They both won. Today on Monica's Pie, we're not talking about love stories. We're doing an autopsy. We're cutting open the marriages of Lydia Bennet and Amy March, and what we find underneath isn't romance. It's strategy, rivalry, and a level of psychological desperation that nobody wants to admit out loud. So let me ask you something before we start. Have you ever done something not because you wanted it, but because you needed someone specific to see you do it? If yes, you already understand Lydia and Amy better than their authors got credit for. Let's go. Before we get into the marriages, let's be honest about the position these two were in. Lydia Bennet, 5 sisters, the youngest, in a household where Jane is the beautiful one and Lizzie is the brilliant one. What exactly is Lydia? Loud, impulsive, dismissed. She didn't have Jane's face or Lizzie's wit, and she knew it. Every family gathering, every ball, every conversation, she was background noise in her own home.
Lydia.
Amy March, 4 sisters, the youngest again, in a household where Jo is the genius, the writer, the rebel, the one Laurie adores. What is Amy?
Come on, let's rehearse. Oh, the fainting scene. You're stiff as a poker in that, Amy.
Well, I can't help it.
It's easy if you'll only watch me. Come on.
I can drop gracefully,
The pretty one who can draw, the one who burned Jo's manuscript, the one the fandom has never fully forgiven. She spent her entire childhood being tolerated by her sisters, not celebrated. There's a concept in psychology called sibling differentiation, the idea that in every family, each child unconsciously carves out a unique identity specifically to avoid directly competing with their siblings. You can't beat Jane at being beautiful, so you become something else. You can't beat Jo at being a genius, so you find a different lane entirely. It sounds like a coping mechanism, and it is, but it's also a survival strategy, and for Lydia and Amy, it became the engine behind every major decision they made, including who they married. Here's what both of them understood that their sisters didn't. In the world they lived in, marriage wasn't just romance, it was the only arena where a woman could publicly score points. Jane could be beautiful, Lizzie could be clever, Jo could be a genius, but none of that mattered in the social ledger of the 19th century if you weren't placed, and placed meant one thing: a husband.
Into which holy estate these persons present come now to be joined.
So what happens when the girl who's been overlooked her whole life finally finds the one game she can win? You're about to find out.
Just that I can't wait to see my mother's face and my sister's. Kitty will be so envious.
Let's start with Lydia, because her move was the most chaotic and the most transparent. Lydia's elopement with Wickham is usually discussed as a disaster, a scandal, a near ruin of the entire Bennet family. And materially, yes, that's accurate.
Jane, do you not see that more things have been ruined by this business than Lydia's reputation?
But get inside Lydia's head for a second. She is 16 years old. She has spent her conscious life being defined by what she is not. Not Jane's beauty, not Lizzie's cleverness, not Mary's moral seriousness, not even Kitty's slightly less wild energy. She's just Lydia, the one who laughs too loud.
I'll send you word express. Oh, Lord. What's a laugh if I should fall and break my head?
I wish you would.
The one who flirts too much, the one the officers find amusing but nobody takes seriously. This is sibling differentiation in its rawest form. She couldn't out-beautiful Jane, she couldn't out-clever Lizzie, so she doubled down on the one thing nobody else was doing. She became wild, untamable, the one who breaks the rules. It wasn't a personality, it was a position, a lane she carved out because every other lane was taken. and then Wickham.
Going to Gretna Green, and if you cannot guess with whom, I shall think you a simpleton, for there is but one man in the world I love.
A charming soldier who actually looks at her, not past her, not through her, at her. For a girl who's been invisible in her own family, that kind of attention is intoxicating. But here's the thing, Lydia didn't just run away because she was reckless or naive. She ran away because she saw a finish line and she sprinted. Think about what she actually secured with that elopement. From her perspective, she became a Mrs. before Jane, before Lizzie, before everyone. In her world, in her head, that was the ultimate scoreboard flip. And the evidence is right there in the text. When Lydia returns to Longbourn after her marriage, she doesn't come back ashamed. She doesn't come back quietly. She comes back victorious.
We passed Sarah Sims in her carriage, so I took off my glove and let my hand just rest so she might see the ring. Then I bowed and smiled like an...
She walks in and immediately reorders a hierarchy at the family table. "Ah, Jane, I take your place now, and you must go lower because I am a married woman." Read that again. She's not saying, "I'm happy." She's not saying, "I love Wickham." She's saying, "I outranked you." That one line tells you everything about what this marriage meant to Lydia. It wasn't about Wickham at all. It was about Jane. It was about Lizzie. It was about every moment she'd been pushed to the bottom of the table and told implicitly that she didn't measure up. She married the status of being married first, not a man. Now, does this make the marriage a success? Absolutely not. Wickham is a gambler, a schemer, a man who only married her because Darcy paid him to.
Responsibility is mine. I must have it, sir. I shall not give way.
Mr. Wickham is to resign from the militia and go into a northern regiment. I have written to Colonel Forster to request that he will satisfy Mr. Wickham's creditors in Brighton, for which I have pledged myself.
She traded her family's reputation, her sister's marriage prospects, and her own long-term security for one afternoon of triumph. But in Lydia's internal economy, she won the moment she sat down at the head of that table. The tragedy of Lydia isn't that she was foolish, it's that she was so starved for significance that a seat at the table, any table, was worth everything else.
We married women don't have much time for writing. My sisters may write to me. They will have nothing better to do as I shall.
Now, Amy. And this is where it gets interesting because Amy's version of the same game is so much more sophisticated that people either miss it entirely or refuse to see it for what it is. Let's establish the dynamic first. Jo March is, by every metric her world cares about, the exceptional one. She's brilliant, she's funny, she's the one Laurie falls in love with, she's the one the reader falls in love with. Amy knows this. She's known it her whole life.
Jo is in New York being a writer, and I'm a failure.
Amy's position in the March family is this. She is the pretty, conventional one in a family that romanticizes the unconventional. Jo gets to be the hero. But here's where Amy's sibling differentiation gets sophisticated. Lydia's version was reactive. She went wild because there was no other lane. Amy's was deliberate. She looked at what Jo was and consciously chose to become the opposite. Not the genius, the lady. Not the rebel, the strategist. She didn't accidentally land in that identity. She built it brick by brick because she understood that trying to out-Jo Jo was a losing game. But watch what Amy does with that position. Unlike Lydia, Amy doesn't make a chaotic, impulsive move. She watches, she learns, she refines herself, her manners, her art, her social fluency with a level of intentionality that's almost cold. While Jo is running headfirst into her own romantic disasters, Amy is in Europe building herself into exactly the kind of woman that the world she lives in rewards. And then there's Laurie. Now, the framing here matters. A lot of people read Amy and Laurie as Amy swooping in on Jo's territory, but let's look at what actually happens. Jo rejects Laurie, clearly, deliberately, repeatedly.
Your lover's stealing around you.
I'd like to see anybody try it.
Would you?
Oh!
not because she doesn't care about him, but because she understands correctly that they would destroy each other. Jo needs independence more than she needs a partner, and Laurie at that point needs someone who will challenge him to be better. Amy does that, actually does that. She doesn't just accept Laurie as he is, aimless, rich, coasting on charm. She tells him directly, "I want you to be worthy of your name." That's not a love confession, that's a restructuring. Amy looks at Laurie, a man Jo walked away from, and sees not a consolation prize, but a project, a potential, and she builds something real with him.
I feel sorry for you, I really do. I just wish you'd bear it better.
You don't have to feel sorry for me, Amy. You'll feel the same way one day.
No, I'd be respected if I couldn't be loved.
So is there a subconscious dimension to this? Yes, absolutely. Amy has spent years watching Laurie orbit Jo like she's the sun. She's been the afterthought, the younger sister, the one nobody's writing novels about. And yes, there is something in that marriage that says, I took what you didn't want and I made it into everything you could have had. That's not romantic love in its pure form. That's complicated, that's layered. That's a woman who understood the rules of her world and played them with precision. The result? Amy ends up with financial security, social standing, a partner she genuinely reformed, and a life of travel and culture. Everything Jo claimed she didn't want, and everything that, if we're honest, made Jo's life harder by refusing. Amy didn't break the system, she mastered it. I may not be a genius, but I can be a lady. That line sounds like an admission of defeat. It isn't, it's a strategy statement. Amy looked at Jo's path, brilliant, struggling, grinding, and decided there is another way to win, and she took it.
Mad at me. I'm sorry for how I behaved.
Have you been drinking again?
Why are you being so hard on me? It's 4 p.m.
Well, someone has to do it.
So let's put these two side by side and be analytical about it. Both Lydia and Amy were working from the same core wound, the experience of being the overlooked sister in a family where other women cast long shadows. Both used marriage as the vehicle to resolve that wound, not primarily as a romantic choice, but as a statement. But the execution couldn't be different. Lydia's move was pure impulse, no calculation, no long game. Just, here's a window, I'm jumping through it. She got her moment, the triumphant return, the title, the seat at the head of the table, and then the window closed and she was trapped on the other side of it with a man who didn't love her, in a life her family had to financially subsidize. She won the race, she lost the future. Amy's move was architecture. She identified what she wanted, not just a husband, but the right position, and she built herself into the woman who could secure it. She didn't react to Jo, she outlasted her. She didn't chase Laurie, she waited until she was the obvious choice. She won the war, she secured the dynasty. But here's the uncomfortable question that both of these stories leave on the table. Did either of them actually get what they were looking for? Lydia wanted to matter, to be seen, to not be the least important person in the room for once. Did Wickham give her that? No. She got the title and the social proof, but she ended up dependent on Darcy's charity and Bingley's goodwill, the very sisters she was trying to outrun. Amy wanted to step out of Jo's shadow permanently, to stop being the afterthought. Did she? In material terms, yes, but she also spent her marriage to a man who, on some level, she knew had loved her sister first. That's not a shadow that disappears just because you're now the one holding the deed. Both of them were trying to escape through marriage. And the thing about escaping is, you can only outrun a shadow if the light changes.
How do you like my husband, Lizzie? I believe you envy me. Was he not a favorite of yours once?
Lydia Bennet and Amy March are not the villains of their stories. They're not even the cautionary tales they're usually framed as. They're the most honest characters in their books because they're the only ones who looked at the world as it actually was and responded to it directly. Jane Bennet dreamed of pure love. Elizabeth Bennet believed cleverness would protect her. Jo March thought she could opt out of the game entirely. Lydia and Amy never had that luxury of illusion. They knew the game existed. They played it. One played it desperately, one played it brilliantly. Neither one fully escaped the thing she was running from. And maybe that's the real takeaway. Marriage as a message to your siblings will always be missing something because it was never really about the marriage at all. I want to hear from you. Is it more satisfying to break the rules like Lydia, chaotic, impulsive, burn it all down energy, or to master the rules like Amy, patient, strategic, play the long game? And be honest, have you ever made a decision, a job, a relationship, a life choice, that was really just a message to someone who wasn't even in the room? Drop it in the comments. No judgment here. This is Monica's Pie. We don't do comfortable. I'm Sana. Stay sharp, stay cynical. See you in the next one.